Well, as Patty said, my name is Lamar Lackey. I have a birth certificate, and I'll show it to you if you want to see it.
You did bring it?
I didn't bring it, but I'll email it to you. Now that we cleared that up, I want y'all to know that I am OCD and anal retentive as well. For example, most people would have come up with an easy-to-remember name for a foundation, but not me. As Patty said, I founded the Foundation for Fiscal, Social, Physical Accountability, and Responsibility. But at least we have a short web address, FSPAR.org. FSPAR is a nonpartisan and nonprofit organization committed to the implementation of sound business principles in the administration, management, and operations of the people's business, government. FSPAR is devoted to social consciousness, values, and prudent stewardship in the implementation of our social responsibilities. FSPAR is also dedicated to the promotion and education of physical fitness, health, and wellness. Think of FSPAR as a watchdog of the business component of government, a moral compass of society, and an advocate of wellness, healthcare, and fitness. While I am retired from investment banking, venture capital, and turnarounds, I am now devoting my time to the people's business and policy. I am using my God-given talent and experience to positively impact the people's business, your business, and policies while serving the people as a steward for and of government, which is why I founded FSPAR. But FSPAR is more than Lamar Lackey. It is comprised of individuals dedicated to the principles of prudence, efficiency, and charity. FSPAR's purpose is to enrich and improve the people's lives, your lives, through better government stewardship. FSPAR is devoted to evaluating policies, identifying administrative shortcomings, conferring with public officials, attending meetings, speaking to groups, hosting and being part of forums, talking with folks like you, seeking the input of public employees, boots on the ground, and not management, and so on. I guess you could say I'm devoting myself to turning around and improving government, body, and soul. In addition, I consider myself to be a very thrifty and economical person who has an uncanny ability to identify bleeders, inefficiencies, if you will, lack of centralization, lack of standardization, lack of economies of scale, lack of use of collective bargaining, and so on. My track record demonstrates that I not only know how to implement a plan, but that I also know how to stretch a dollar. As a matter of fact, someone once said that if you give me a penny, I'll stretch it into fiber optic cable. It's not enough, however, for us to look at only expressions. We must be forward-thinking and make sure our actions have a positive impact and a lasting effect on our state and our country. Our actions must be eventful, enduring, and effective, all the while never losing sight of the fact that government and businesses, and even nonprofits, still have to focus on efficiency and effectiveness, which are critical to survival, which is where my involvement with politics started when I considered running for county commissioner. For the most part, the problems in government stem from mismanagement, hypocrisy, inequality, and nepotism. Our state is in proration. We have inefficiencies and we are bleeding, wasting taxpayers' money. There is a lot of talk, but no true problem-solving action being taken to stop the bleeding. We have cash, and we're not broke yet. The state has a healthcare tsunami heading its way, which I will detail later on. Another problem is voter nepotism, which to understand, you must first understand that government is no different than business. The executive branch is management. The legislative branch, the House and Senate, is the board of directors. And we, you and me, the people, the taxpayers, or the stockholders, the owners. We can't blame legislators, members of the House and Senate, for fiscal delays. Their ultimate responsibility is oversight. They are the board of directors. Ultimate responsibility lies in the executive branch, where, as Harry Truman once said, the buck stops here. The CEO of our state is the governor. The executive branch implements policy, that which the legislature enacts. Simply put, a good legislator does not necessarily make a good chief executive, and vice versa. In the same way that a good player does not necessarily make a good coach, and vice versa. Trust me, I know how to swim and ride a bike, but that does not make me Michael Phelps nor Lance Armstrong. The state of Alabama has many problems, both immediate and long-term, both real costs and opportunity costs. For example, the state has almost 200 entities, commissions, agencies, departments, and branches, all independent kingdoms, doing their own thing, spending their budget as management sees fit with total disregard for economies of scale and what is in the best interest of you, the people. The state needs to restructure and centralize certain functions so as to eliminate duplication, which leads to ineffectiveness and inefficiency. Instead of these various entities having their own respective departments and or staff where applicable, FSPAR advocates the forming of the following centralized state departments: State Accounting Department, State Purchasing Department, State Marketing, Advertising, and Communications Department, State Auditing Department, State Transportation and Services Department, State Property Management and Maintenance Department. Let me stress that none of these proposed departments would increase the size of state government nor add jobs. People are just redistributed, moved from one place to another. The applicable staff from the various entities would be transferred to their respective centralized department and thus no longer work directly for any individual state entity. As a result, people can be cross-trained in how their respective skill sets apply. These newly created departments would provide their respective services to all state entities and would have internships, apprenticeships, and senior-level class projects involving state vocational colleges and four-year universities and colleges, thereby exposing our next generation to how their would-be professions apply to government and giving them hands-on experience where they can apply their knowledge in real time in the real world, if you can refer to government as the real world. The State Accounting Department would handle all accounting functions: accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll, inventory management, and so on. They would handle this for every state entity. This department would utilize internships and apprenticeships to allow college students to see firsthand how accounting functions in government. The State Purchasing Department would centralize and standardize the purchasing of all goods and services purchased by and used by the state. Then through collective bargaining, negotiating of those goods and services would economies of scale, savings, be recognized. For example, this department would conclude on one 8.5 by 11 legal pad that is to be used throughout the entire state. And pricing would be negotiated based on the volume that the state is expected to use in the course of a year. The same applies to pens. This department would conclude on one black pen, one blue pen, and one red pen to be used by the state, and volume-based pricing would be obtained. If an employee does not like the legal pad or pens, that's fine. They're more than welcome to bring their own. What difference does it make if the paper is yellow versus white or vice versa?